You know, the beauty and personal care market is, well, it's incredibly crowded. But one name, Mamaearth, has just shot up faster than pretty much anyone else. Their journey, really from a small startup to a billion-dollar company, is a total masterclass in how to build a brand today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct their entire playbook.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. This is the big question, right? It's not just about the growth, it's the speed. 6 years. I mean, that's nothing in the consumer goods world. So how on earth did they build this massive empire while giants who've been around for decades just watched? That's exactly what we're here to figure out.
And if you really want to grasp the scale of this rocket ship, just look at this number. In fiscal year 2022, Mamaearth's parent company, Hanessa, brought in over 930 crores in revenue. But here's the really mind-blowing part. Just 2 years before that, in 2020, that number was 110 crores. We're talking more than an 8x jump in just 2 years. That isn't just growth. That's what you call hypergrowth.
So, to really understand this rocket ship, we're going to break it down into its core parts. We'll start with its two main engines, their house of brand strategy and that incredible influencer marketing machine. Then we'll look at the fuel, the really expensive fuel that makes it all go, the trade-off between growth and profitability. And finally, we'll boil it all down into a 5-step playbook you can actually use.
All right, let's get into the mechanics of this thing. What were the actual strategies that took them from this niche online brand to a market leader so darn fast? So the first engine of this rocket is their house of brand strategy. They figured out something really smart, really early on. Instead of trying to make their one brand, Mamaearth, be everything to everyone, it was way more powerful to just build or buy totally new brands to capture completely different types of customers.
And check out this timeline. It shows you just how fast they hit the accelerator on this. Mamaearth launched in 2016. 4 years later, they launched the Dermaco. But then, look at the pace. In 2021, they launched 2 more brands, and in 2022, they bought 2 that were already established. They went from launching 1 brand in 4 years to adding 4 brands to their lineup in just 2. It's wild. So why do all this? Well, this table kind of shows the genius behind it. They're selling similar stuff, right? Face wash, body lotion, but under different brands at slightly different prices. Mamaearth is all about being toxin-free. The Dermaco is pitched as science-backed. Aqualogica focuses on hydration. Every brand speaks to a different customer need, which lets them just dominate the shelf space, both online and in stores, and grab a way bigger audience. And this right here, this shows you how big they're thinking. They aren't just trying to build another D2C brand. Nope. They're aiming to become the Procter & Gamble or the heel of the digital age in India, a true house of brands. Okay, but having a house full of brands doesn't do you any good if nobody knows about them. And that brings us to the second engine of their rocket ship, an absolutely enormous influencer marketing machine that's just built to create awareness at a crazy scale. This quote, this is straight from their IPO filing document, and it is staggering. In just 6 months, they worked with nearly 4,000 influencers. I mean, let that sink in. This isn't just some marketing strategy. It's an industrial-scale operation for content and distribution. They're basically turning social media into their main sales channel. And here's how they kicked it up another notch. In 2021, they didn't just partner with influencers, they went out and bought a whole platform, Momspresso. Talk about a brilliant move. This instantly gave them a community of millions of users and creators, basically turning into their own in-house content factory and influencer agency all in one go.
And this focus, it's not just talk, you know? It's literally built into their DNA. Just look at their team. Over 14% is pure marketing, and almost 13% is in tech. You have to understand, this isn't a beauty company that's just playing around with tech. It's a tech and marketing company that happens to sell beauty products. But running a machine this big takes a colossal amount of fuel. And that leads us to the most debated part of the whole Mamaearth story, this constant battle between their incredible growth and just how much it cost.
This chart really lays it all out there. In fiscal year 2022, to make 932 crores in sales, they had to spend 391 crores on marketing. That's the fuel for the engine. To put that in perspective, their entire sales from the year before was 460 crores. They're spending massive amounts of money to get customers and grab market share.
So yeah, this is the trade-off. On one hand, the pros are pretty obvious. They've gotten huge and built multiple successful brands in record time. But on the other hand, for every rupee they earn, about 40 paisa goes right back out the door for marketing. The whole model kind of depends on a constant stream of funding to keep that engine running. So how can they possibly justify burning through so much cash? Well, the answer is in one super important metric: return on ad spend, or ROAS. The data shows that for every 1 rupee Mamaearth spends on marketing, they consistently make back about 2.5 rupees in sales. As long as that ratio stays solid, they can argue that their spending is actually efficient and predictable, even if it is incredibly high.
So, after all that, what can we actually learn? If you were trying to build the next big thing, what's the real takeaway here? We've basically distilled their entire journey into a simple 5-step playbook. All right, here it is, the playbook. It starts with constant innovation. That's your product engine. Then you build a whole portfolio of brands around that so you can capture the whole market, not just a tiny piece of it. You fuel all of that with a massive influencer and content machine, and you use tech to make it all smarter. But the final step, and honestly the most important, is you have to understand the math. Know your return on ad spend, and make a very deliberate choice about that trade-off between insane growth and long-term profit.
And that really leaves us with the final question, doesn't it? Mamaearth has absolutely chosen the path of hypergrowth. They're betting that getting big and leading the market is worth the enormous cost. They've built an incredible machine, no doubt, but that machine needs constant, very expensive fuel. Is it the right way to go? Well, that's the billion-dollar question you kind of have to decide for yourself.